The biggest pitfall to teaching remotely is the inability to develop relationships with students.
Someone who likes to connect with my professors, so being online, it really kind of eliminates that possibility.
Prior to teaching remotely, I relied on 22 years of experience as a dance teacher. Now that I've moved to teaching remotely, I've had to learn a lot of other skills that I did not have to use before. So it requires a lot more of my time, requires me to evaluate my previous knowledge, update it, learn technology. And truly, it's taken a lot more of my time. I'm teaching from I'm either preparing or I'm teaching, but at all times I'm thinking about my job now.
With the virtual learning for my son Avery, it's not that difficult, because they have their schedule set up for, he's in class from 9 to 2:30 every day, 3 classes with a lunch. So that's fairly regimented. The biggest struggle is for my 4-year-old that's also home, and just managing her and keeping her entertained while I'm also working from home.
I'd rather be in person just because I feel like I do better when I see what my teacher is doing directly than to my teacher just speaking to me. I think I'm doing better. I was doing better in person just because I don't have to deal with the online websites that make me not be able to get to my work or anything like that.
The one thing that has been a struggle is just the technology challenges with everything being virtual, sometimes falling out of Google Meets, sometimes not being able to log in.
So my typical day starts at around 11:30. I hop on my computer and take about 2.5 hours worth of notes, and then after that I have another 3 hours of homework. The biggest difference, I'd say, is the personal connection. I'm someone who likes to connect with my professors. So being online, it really kind of eliminates that possibility, because class starts and it ends and there's no time to go up and talk to the professor after class is over.
I have friends who don't really have the best at-home situations, and a lot of people use school as like a getaway. But I don't really think we should go back. I think this is something that we need to stay at home for. It is a pandemic, and it's something that we need to start controlling the spread of, and it's been going on for too long. We can't just start sending people back to school.
As an arts teacher, I rarely had a lot of downtime because I've always had to spend time choreographing or just thinking creatively how to teach my students, how to reach my students. Now, I'm trying to figure out ways to not only reach my students, but reach them remotely where we're not in this physical space together, and it makes it much more difficult.
I'd say it removes the connection experience that everyone gets to have with the online learning. So in a regular class, you have the aspect of if you miss something, you can raise your hand and ask the professor to go over it or maybe expand on the details. Where when you're online, there's 70 people competing and saying here or trying to just connect with the professor in some way to ask that question, and I think it deters people away from actually asking questions.
The biggest pitfall to teaching remotely is the inability to develop relationships with students. When we're in the physical space together, I can read students' body language. I'm much more accessible to them so that they can pull me off to the side to talk to me.
Academically, I hated going to school every day pre-pandemic. I didn't ever want to go. Whenever I was there, I would sit there and talk to my friends about how much I wanted to leave. It was emotionally really hard on me.
We are finding that a lot of students are going through depression, finding it very difficult to get out of bed to engage in the lessons. What I have found is that students who struggled with academics last year when we were physically in school are now doing well. Students who do well in person seem to be struggling in this new environment, learning environment.